Hi, it's Steve. Today we're going to show you how to change the electronic control board on your refrigerator. It's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a flat blade screwdriver. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, the first thing we'll need to do is to pull the refrigerator far enough forward that we can disconnect the plug. Now next we'll open up both doors. We should remove any items that are on this top shelf just to get those out of the way. And then we're next going to remove that light shield. And towards the back of it there's a little rectangular slot that's probably big enough to push your thumb into. Just push straight back on that cover and that will disengage it. So you can take that out and remove it. Now next you'll find two slots on the back that will allow us access with a flat blade screwdriver so we can release some tabs and tilt that control panel down. Now the next thing I would do is remove the two light bulbs from the ceiling just so that we don't damage them while we're working in that area. Now from the back side you'll see a slot on either side here, and just in the opening of that slot you'll see the top of a tab that is actually part of this control panel. So what we'll do is we're going to take a flat blade screwdriver and we're going to push that tab back a bit while pulling down on the control panel. And they're fairly snug in there, so be afraid to push hard on it. Then we'll go over to the other side and try to release that one as well. Release tabs across the front, drop it down, and we'll disconnect the harnesses. Pull the sensor out of its holder, remove the two main plugs on the board, just squeeze the release tab and pull them off. And your model may also have a humidity switch on the left here, so we'll need to remove those two wires. And if they're snug, just take the flat blade screwdriver and carefully pry them off. Now with the assembly removed from the refrigerator, we can take the old board out and install our new one. Now next we'll remove that old control board from the housing. So we'll start at the top on the front here. We're just going to gently lift up on that tab while pushing out on the board, and that will release the top portion of it. And there's also a matching tab at the back. We'll need to push it back just enough to release the board while we're lifting up on that board, and we can take those out and set them aside. Now when working with our new board, they are static sensitive, so we suggest that you either ground yourself thoroughly before you handle it, or put some protective gloves on so that we don't get a static discharge into the board. You'll note that it comes in one piece, so it needs to be bent to separate it along that straight line. So very carefully just work it back and forth a bit, and that will separate. Now we'll also need to lift that board up so that the buttons and the displays are facing towards the front. We'll set that piece in first. There's a little channel across the bottom. Drop that down into that channel, line up the buttons, and then gently lift up on that tab again while pushing in on the board until it snaps in position. Do the same for the bottom board. Line that up in a little notch in the center. And then take a little pressure off of that tab and snap that down into position. we can now mount that control panel back into the refrigerator. So we'll begin by reconnecting the wire harnesses to the control board. Make sure the locking tabs engage so that they're fully into position. We'll also take the temp sensor and snap it in between those two little vertical tabs. Now next we're going to hook these two tabs into the slotted openings in the ceiling, and then we'll pivot the whole control panel straight back. Once we've got it almost flush, we'll just give that a sharp bump on either side to snap it into place. That will engage those two tabs at the rear. Next we'll reinstall our light bulbs. And now our shield for the light bulbs. Just line that up side to side and make sure it's flush with the ceiling. Once it's in position, pull it straight forward until it snaps into place. Our next step will be to plug the unit in and program the new board. Now with the unit plugged in, we'll again open both doors. And to get the refrigerator into the program mode, basically we need to close both light switches and then hit the freezer down temperature pad 3 times consecutively. So we'll start by holding both door switches closed. And release the light switches. It'll show you that you're in the program mode. Next, hit that down control one more time, and that should show you 2 zeros. We need to program in the code for this particular refrigerator, and it will be located on the model tag. On this particular unit, it says it is a code 01. We've already had the 0 in place. We'll next program the refrigerator control up 1, and that will give us the code that we're looking for. Now with the proper code programmed in, we'll next hit the freezer down arrow again until the unit flashes. We can then close the doors. And our unit is programmed. You can then set the temperatures as you desire. Close the refrigerator doors again, and our repair is complete.